Okay, mama, what if you're not broken? What if you are not doing it all wrong? What if you are exactly where you're meant to be? That is what we're going to talk about today. That is what I want you to know. You are not broken. You are exactly where you're meant to be, and you are in control of your life, and I want to tell you why. Do you wish you had control of your days, that you had a rhythm, but instead feel overwhelmed, scattered, and like there's never enough time? You're in the right place. I'm Danielle, a recovering workaholic, wife, and stay-at-home mom of 2 girls. I've learned how to reclaim my time and find purpose and freedom so I can be present with my kids and feel like myself again. Here, we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. So if you're ready to trade the chaos for clarity, the guilt for grace, and the endless to-do list for aligned flow, grab the kiddos a snack and toss in that laundry because I know you're multitasking, and let's do this because your time, your purpose, and you matter. Okay, mamas, so you may have heard my episode last week. I followed it up on Monday. I'm going to be doing kind of 3 parts over the next couple of weeks, talking about how you can tap into this joy of missing out, talking about how you can feel joy and be content in who you are and what you're doing in your mom life, even when things don't seem to be going the way that they should, even when things may feel a little bit unsettling, they feel out of alignment, right? You're chasing or striving for this balance, this thing that doesn't exist. And as a mom, I want you to know that you can do hard things, that you can achieve exactly what it is that you want to achieve, whether that's a stay-at-home mom, whether that's something more than a stay-at-home mom, whether that is, whatever your heart desires. I believe God placed that desire on your heart for a reason. And I believe that you are capable of achieving that. Whether that's today or at a date later in the future, just know that you are on the right path. Just know that if you listen to the podcast talking about alignment, talking about this aligned flow, talking about this place where everything in your life is not balanced, right? Where not everything is at the same time being focused on in the same amount of energy, that is not possible. I do not believe work-life balance is attainable. It is just an aligned flow. Your life needs to be in aligned flow. And I talked on Tuesday about how to create that aligned flow, about the foundation that we need to build and get clear on what we are doing and why. And I know that building that foundation, doing that work is sometimes really hard. Sometimes it's really hard, but I want you to know that it's worth it. It is truly worth it. I have a quote here I wanted to share from Henry Ford that says, "When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it." The airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. And this quote matters to me right now, and why I think it's so appropriate for this particular episode is because we can feel like we're up against everyone, right? We can feel like we're up against the shoulds in this world, the have tos in this world. The, stay-at-home mom life looks like this, right? And you have this picture in your head of what it's going to look like. Stay-at-home mom life means this, that, and the other thing. This is what I've heard. This is what I've seen. This is what I should be doing. And then you actually are a stay-at-home mom. And guess what? Life doesn't look like that. Or if it does look like that, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it should, right? You don't feel the way that you think that you should feel in your mom life because you aren't sure, you aren't clear on what it is that you want and why. And when we take the time to get still and to get clear, sometimes that work feels really hard. I know mom life feels really hard, but even harder sometimes is figuring out what's actually important to you and why. And I want to tell you that quote about going against the wind, right? The airplane takes off against the wind when we are willing to push through that uncomfortableness, when we are willing to push back on what society may be thinking, on what maybe someone else thinks that you should do as a stay-at-home mom, right? That's sometimes hard for you to talk to parents or in-laws or people closest to you that don't necessarily agree with what you believe is true to you. They don't necessarily agree with what you're hoping for in your life, what you know to be best for your family. And so we have to sometimes go against the wind, go against the grain, go against what everyone else is thinking, saying, doing, and do what we know is true to us. And that can feel really hard, but it's also really worth it, right? You think about anything that is worthwhile in this life, truly, usually comes with hard work, right? It usually comes with some resistance. It usually comes with obstacles. And we know how hard mom life is, right? It's hard whether you're a stay-at-home mom or a working mom. Mom life is hard. But when you're a stay-at-home mom, it is different, right? It is different pressure. Until you are a stay-at-home mom, you don't understand kind of what you are up against. But I want you to know that you can push through that. And I want you to know that it is worth it on the other side. And when you figure out what you want, you can experience that JOMO, that joy of missing out, that true feeling of fulfillment and joy that you will have, that you know that you're doing what you're meant to do, what you're called to do, what is important for you and your family in this season of your life. I want to read one last quote here. I'm going to keep this episode short and sweet today, from Roger Lee, that says, "Whatever happens today, no matter how difficult it gets, remind yourself that even though life has been very hard, you were born with the strength to live it. You were born with the strength to live your life." And I know it can seem really hard as a mama. It can seem very overwhelming. You can seem very lost. You can seem like you are, up a creek without a paddle, right? Like sometimes you feel, even though you're not alone, you feel so alone because you have this identity, this person that you used to be. And then you have this person that you are now. And you think that you're the same person, and you kind of want to be the same person, but you're not. You're not the same person anymore. You have children now. You are different. It just happens. It is very natural. And honestly, I don't wish I was that person anymore. I am a better person now as a mom, and so are you. And so we have to know that we were born for this, that God gave you the innate ability to raise these children. You are the perfect person to raise these children. But also, you don't have to put aside everything that your heart desires, everything that you believe is important to you and your family, and you don't have to conform to the ways of this world or what everyone else thinks or says or does. You can figure out what is important to you, what brings you joy, what makes you tick, and what is going to bring you that fulfillment that you are looking for. And then once you figure that out, you can walk it out. And that is what I want for you. And so I just want you to know that you have it within you, that I know you do because I have been you. I have walked where you have walked. There has been many other moms who have as well. And that if you keep going, if you know deep down in your heart that you were meant for more, that you are doing the right thing, staying home, that you know you do not want to go back to work, like a 9-to-5 work, but you may want more for yourself. You just might not know what that looks like yet. That is okay. Let's get clear and get still and figure out what is important to you and why, and then go after that. And let's build that path. But let's not skip the part where you do this work of figuring out who you are now, figuring out who you've become, because that is so important. It's exactly what we talked about Tuesday. It's what I do with my coaching. I would love to help you with it as well. Go to prioritizewithpurpose.com if you want to check that out. And I would love to help you in a prioritization clarity call, discover these things or uncover these things. I would love to help you do exactly that to build the foundation that we are talking about. And next week, we're going to talk all about comparison. I cannot wait to get into that with you all as well. That was like the second thing we talked about to achieve that JOMO, how to deal with comparison, how to look at comparison, and how to not have to be in that comparison mode anymore, and how you can actually use comparison to propel you forward. Okay. So until next week, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right back here next week. Keep smiling, y'all.